Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the TTI show. Now, we have international people on this program already, which is a surprise to me, but they're here and I want to welcome you. And I'd like to welcome everybody that have just joined us. And also wish you a happy new year. We're now in 2023. 2022 is gone. It's gone.
Bye-bye.
2023. And we have two wonderful people and their family with us here that's going to be doing our program. And the focus for the program is going to be cookery. And we're going to focus on desserts. So we have Jackie Brown and Michaela Brown. And thank you so much for being here. And we wait in anticipation of what we're going to hear and what we're going to see. Unfortunately, we won't be able to taste it. I wish there would be something we could do about that, but this moment in time we can't. But we're still faithful that we're going to say, well, we're going to see something good that we're going to want to replicate it. And I'm sure there's going to be some sort of a cookery sheet that you can follow to check out some of these wonderful things that they're going to do. So welcome, welcome, welcome.
Before we hand over to Jackie and Michaela, though, we're just letting you know that we will be sharing with you some promos at the end. Due to time, we'll share them with you at the end. So stay tuned. Don't adjust your sets. We'll be still back with you after we hear from our lovely sisters, Jackie and Michaela.
Okay, just before we jump into it, and we are going to jump for the sake of time, I want to ask a question to kind of open the show, and it can be to you, Jackie, or it can be to you, Michaela. Okay, I'm going to put you on the spot now, so be ready to answer. And welcome, by the way, welcome. What is your understanding of good food? What is your understanding? Because everybody's got different ideas. And because you're going to do something now that we're trying to promote good food and so on, if I ask you the question, what is your understanding of good food? What would your answer be?
Nutritious, delicious, simple.
Wow, that's an answer. I like that one. That is good. And at that, I am not going to hold back. I'm going to turn it over to you both. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. And Sabbath, I guess, is done. We love our Sabbaths, and it's sad to see it go. My name is Jacqueline Brown. This is my daughter, Michaela Brown. And we thank God for the opportunity to share with you today about food. As Brother Edgar said, cookery. And it's such an important topic because we have to eat. But what we eat makes up our blood. What we eat can prevent disease, or it can be one of the root causes of disease. So it's really important to know what to eat, and to eat our food, to enjoy it, and eat to the glory of God. I don't know if Michaela had, we're going to have a quick overview of just the basic understanding of what should be on our plates. And then the extras, which is Michaela's department. Now, Michaela, what do you have in store for us?
So I'm going to be showing you guys 3 different kinds of desserts from my cookbook, which I'll show you guys later. So we have carrot cake, scones, and energy bars. So that's what we have in mind.
It is delicious. I'm really sorry that you're not able to taste it, but trust me, and don't trust me, get the cookbook for yourself. Because you see, Michaela, when we made the transition to be completely plant-based, she was determined that we would not neglect desserts. And, you know, it's not every single day that we have dessert, maybe every other day, but especially Sabbath. We must have dessert on a Sabbath. So I started with desserts, and then slowly Michaela just kind of took over, and I'm like, okay, it's yours. And she literally ran with it. And she believes in giving people that option of healthy desserts to such an extent that she wrote a book. And you wrote it in the process of time, in 2020, part of 2021.
Yeah.
But it wasn't ready
last
till
year.
2022. And it's been such a blessing just sharing, you know, the information. I don't know what you want to, if you want to say anything about your book. How do people obtain it, and what does it involve?
Okay, so the book is just basically some of my favorite recipes that I've put together over the years. You can obtain it on my website, plantbakes.org. We can type in the chat for you guys. And I've also taken all the pictures as well, since you know, we couldn't obtain a food photographer. So I took a course in food photography, so I was able to take my own pictures. And most of the desserts in the book, they're quick, they're simple. The ingredients you can find in your local supermarket. And anyone can make it. Children can make it. And I usually, you know, get the children to make it first, so I know that is, you know, able, so anyone can make it. It's easy. For anyone to make it. Yeah, so.
Wonderful. Now, you may not, I mean, carob, it's hard to get carob in your local supermarket.
Yeah, you might have to go to a health food store or get it online.
Yes, and we'll share a place where we usually get it. And I think this is we have like the carob from there is the best carob that we've tasted.
Yeah, and also in the book, there's also, you have an ingredient list and places where you can obtain those ingredients.
Okay. So by God's grace, you've thought of a lot of things. And if you should get the book and you think of more things that we could add, please let us know. We're always willing and you know, learning. So that'll be wonderful. But before we go any further, and we welcome questions, by the way, as well. We just have a little time constraint. So we're going to go into a presentation, and then thereafter, we'll go into the kitchen and bake together. Before we begin, I just want to have a quick word of prayer. Heavenly Father, thank you so much for the Sabbath that has just gone. Thank you for a new week. We thank you for 2023. Wow. And the plans that you have for us. And we pray that we will walk and talk with you throughout this year. But for now, please be with us as we taste and see that you are indeed so very good. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, just sharing my screen. Okay, let me just close all of these. All right. Right. The makeup of a meal. I just thought it was quite important. So the first slide. Just thought it was quite important that before we go straight to dessert, that we should have a little, just a little look at food in general, you know, good food, because it makes a difference. We have to eat. We should enjoy what we eat. Of course, the dessert is extra, so it's not essential, but it's a really nice extra. But even in making that choice, we need to ensure that we make a better, you know, we go for the better option where possible. Okay, so good food, it's important. So we're looking at the makeup of a meal, and we tend to have a certain order of things in our family, but you can turn it on its head if you need to. But each meal should have fresh fruits or vegetables. it's important that we don't mix the two because it causes confusion in the body. Yeah. And then a good complex carbohydrates, healthy fats, plant protein. For those who are have meat such as lamb and beef, chicken, of course, it's important that we start to consider some of these choices. And there are so many reasons why, but we're all going through a transition. And we went through our own transition some years back, and it was gradual, but it was definite. And definite simply means that whatever was taken away needed to be replaced by something better. So it's not about not eating this and not eating that, but making intelligent choices about why this and why not that, and replacing that, and therefore making sure as well that no deficiencies occur, and that you eat for strength and for building up of all the tissues and muscles and various systems of the body. So fruits, fresh fruits or vegetables, complex carbohydrates such as sweet potatoes, such as brown rice or whole grain rice, because not all brown rice are equal. Not all rice that look brown are equal, such as millet, buckwheat, such as barley, etc. Okay, these are complex carbohydrates because they still, as I used to say to the children, they still have their jackets on. Then you have the healthy fats. Healthy fats include avocados and olives and nuts and seeds, especially unsalted and not, what do I say, processed in any way, but just the raw stuff. And what are some of the healthy nuts that you can think of, Michaela?
Almonds,
cashews,
Brazil nuts,
Brazils, pecans, walnuts, macadamias. Okay, that's a nice list. Actually, almonds are king of the nuts. They're known as king of the nuts because they contain so much nutrition. And then macadamias are also very, very nutritious, but they're very, very expensive. So we used to buy it, but not anymore for a long time. At the moment, walnuts are very easy to get hold of because they're trying to get rid of the excess through the seasonal greeting sessions that we've just had. So I went into Morrison's the other day and they were just there, like going for really, but you have to crack them, by the way. So have a mortar and pestle or something with which to open them up. Healthy fats, avocados, olives, coconut, excellent, okay, coconut. And then plant protein, including, we have beans of different types, you have lentils of different types and colors, you have chickpeas, you have split peas, you have tofu, you have jackfruit, you have banana blossom, you have nuts again, you can cook with nuts. We make lots of dishes with nuts or seeds. And all of these are just amazing. And I remember, being told that, maybe the children were going to, maybe their growth wasn't going to be as optimal. And if you see them all stood next to me, yes, I have become the child in terms of how tall they are and by God's grace, well proportioned. So it is not true. Fruits or vegetables. Fruits and vegetables are high in essential vitamins and minerals, rich in fiber. They help reduce the risk of health problems. So, look at those colors. Every single color suggests a phytochemical that protects us against disease and can help us reverse disease. Carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates are an important source of energy. Eliminate the simple carbohydrates found in most desserts, sweets, soft drinks, and cereals. Complex carb sources such as brown rice, oats, quinoa, millet, buckwheat, whole grain flours, and more. So if the nutritional elements have been stripped of carbohydrates, this is what makes them problematic. I have a sister who says, I don't do carbs, it makes me put on weight. And I try to tell her it's not necessarily the carb as it is the type of carb it is, how she eats it, when she eats it, late night eating is not the best, regardless of what we eat. But yeah, to help her to understand that it is not the carb itself. And actually the mitochondria needs carbohydrates for energy. There are certain situations where we have to look more closely at carbohydrates and maybe have a lot less than we do. What about healthy fats? We've spoken about that already. Remove unhealthy fats from the diet, such as lard, shortening, meat, fish, poultry, fried foods, cream, mayonnaise, and cheese. You know what? All of these can be replaced with something better. This is what I love. It's not just about, remove this and don't eat that and don't touch this. No, it makes that makes eating quite difficult. But it is that there's something so much better and healthier. And then we talked about the proteins very quickly. Peas and beans being excellent sources of protein. Even vegetables such as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, spinach contain protein. You never thought of that, right? So if you're having, a big salad before your meal with some of, let's say, spinach, and lettuce, and then you're having some steamed cabbage and steamed broccoli, along with your beans and brown rice, you're getting a nice balance of protein right there. Let's have a quick concentration on dessert because, some of us think it's not necessary. And it's true. We've been advised it is better to let sweet things alone, let alone those sweet dessert dishes that are placed on the table. You do not need them. You want a clear mind to think after God's order. It is so true. And when I read this quote, I'm thinking, yes, how I used to make cakes, I so get it. Sweet with sugar, butter, let's say dairy butter, a whole lot of dairy, maybe milk, depending on what it is. What else? White flour, eggs. Do you know that eggs are one of the most dangerous foods you could ever eat? Okay, we're not on eggs right now, we're on dessert. So focus, Jackie, focus. Dessert. So if you consider how dessert is usually made, you would understand this quote. I personally understand this quote. I know where I'm coming from. And so if it's a problem, leave it alone. Okay. Let's have a look. It's another one. Plain, simple pie may serve as dessert, but when one eats 2 or 3 pieces merely to gratify an inordinate appetite, ouch. He unfits himself for the service of God. Some, after partaking largely of other food, will take dessert, not because they need it, but because it tastes good. Isn't this true? We're full, right? We're like, yeah, I've had seconds and thirds, I'm done. I need to now go for a nice long walk, I hope. But then the dessert comes. It's like, on the other hand, I think I've just made space, and we add to our already full bodies because you know what? I want dessert. Though I'm full, I want dessert. So again, when it's just eaten for the sake of eating it, it becomes a problem because actually the body can't break it down and it becomes an added burden to the body as opposed to being a nice finish to a meal. But this is another way to perhaps overcome that. The dessert should be placed on the table and served with the rest of the food. For often, after the stomach has been given all it should have, the dessert is brought on, and it's just that much too much. So it's wonderful. I love that balance of listen. I'm not saying don't have it, just have it as part of the meal. So let people know, okay, there's dessert. Okay, so please make space. Don't don't overburden your body and then add a dessert to that burden.
Also, some people, they have dessert maybe like 45 minutes after their main meal. So then the body has to start digesting the main meal and then start digesting the dessert. But then that is like a backlog, and then the main meal starts to putrefy.
Wow, it starts to rot, literally. That is such a good point. So I know that where I'm coming from, it used to be that you have your as much as you like to eat meal, and then you wait for an hour, or two, or maybe 45 minutes, like you said, and have your dessert so that you can have as much dessert as you want. And what Michaela is saying is that this is actually that leads to disease, because what happens to the big meal that you just had, once you start to introduce the dessert after just an hour or even two, the body starts to digest the dessert, and the rest of your meal, your big meal, starts to rot. It starts to putrefy because now it has to wait for the dessert to be processed by the body. This is a very good point. Very, very, very good point. Another thing that we sometimes do is we have fruits as dessert. That is, try to have fruits, like we said, and vegetables at separate intervals where possible. There may be times, like Michaela's you made a fruit jam, right? Today, that's going to go on the scones, okay? All right, that's permissible. But you can also have that for breakfast, with a fruit meal, or, in that way is permissible. So breakfast is the most important meal of the day. A good breakfast should contain the most calories of any meal. Choose foods high in protein and complex carbohydrates. Don't forget the fruit. Try to eat a good lunch and a very light supper. This will give you energy for the day and a better night of rest. Okay, so, depending on your own schedule, some people have 3 meals, some people have 2 meals. We personally have 2 meals, 2 big meals, and nothing in between apart from water and maybe some herbal tea if necessary. But, people wonder, do you not get hungry? No, because if you choose to cover all of these areas of, the food groups that your body needs, and you have a sufficient variety. Michaela, do you feel hungry?
No.
Have you grown up starved of food?
No.
No. And it's a transition, when I was transitioning Levi, I think he was maybe 3 or 4, and he got it, it's just a gradual transition. And he was quite fine, but he was very, very timely. If once his body was ready to eat, he was sat at the table. He wasn't messing with waiting. So, obviously, each person will know what is best in terms of children, especially, but even children get this. So breakfast needs to, now some people say, well, I'm rushing off in the morning. I don't have time for breakfast. Okay, so this has to be modified for you. So this tends to be what our breakfast looks like. And it could be your lunch. You could choose that this is your dinner. It's completely up to you, but this is how it usually goes for us. So always beginning with fruits. Now, some people have the fruits with whatever they're eating, but I suppose we did it this way to help the children to eat more of what we really desire them to eat more of. So we went in stages, yeah? So by the time you get to dessert, it's not much. And that's really important as well when you're talking about desserts and, things like that. So we begin with the nutritious and raw elements of the meal, followed by the carbohydrates and the good fats. Now, this one has some fruits on top. That's fine, but there was a concentration of fruits beforehand. I usually say 2 to 3 different types of fruit where possible, even 4 or 5, depending on the availability and whether it's possible to have that. And then, you know, if you're still hungry after that, you know, 'cause that was oats with some nuts and seeds and flaxseed, which is so good for you. Then have a slice of, you know, spelt bread with avocado, you know, or you can have a nut butter, like, you know, almond butter, or if you're not allergic, peanut butter, or something that will also just finish off your meal perfectly. Now, you can actually use scones, the scones that we're going to have, that are going to be shown, you can actually use that for breakfast instead of this. We make lots of different dishes, like we make breakfast parfait, we make fruit crisp, which is basically something that back in the days, I would have for a dessert, because it has fruits on top, on the bottom, and crumble on the top. And you would usually think to have that for a dessert. We tend to have it for dessert for breakfast, you know, because of the whole concentration of fruits. So loads of different ideas. And that's what I love about this, is that you can make it your very own. Lunch is always preceded with a nice big salad. You know, we have different types of salad, the nice different different types of nice dressings. And then you have your main meal, which this is stir-fried quinoa. You can, as your protein, you have spinach in there, you can put broccoli in there, you can put nuts and seeds in there, you can put tofu in there. It's just, the ideas are endless, and each can be as delicious as they can be. And then, of course, finish off with one of Michaela's delectable desserts. And they are delectable. This is one of her cheesecakes, right?
Yeah.
I think this is one of my favorites. And it's so simple, it's nutritious, and it's delicious. And it leaves you feeling like, I want more, but I think I've had enough, but I do definitely want more tomorrow. And that's why the dessert is good to come last, but it's good to also know that it's coming. So you can leave that space. If you must have supper, make sure it's light, and try not to eat, you know, something like this past, let's say, 6 o'clock. If you must have something past 6 o'clock, have fruits. You're like, what? I've just come back from a hard day's work. I'm not going to go to bed on an empty stomach on fruits. Okay, that's your choice. I might just add a couple of crackers to that, or some yogurt with some flaxseed or some chia seeds. That will help actually to make you feel a little bit more full. Okay, because the body is getting ready to wind down. If you burden it with too much food, you're going to struggle with sleep. You're going to wake up actually, you know, not as hungry for breakfast. This is one of the reasons actually why sometimes people skip breakfast, because they're still full. The body is still processing. To be honest, a couple of days during the holidays, we experienced that, right?
Yeah.
Because our meals went slightly later than usual. Come breakfast, we're like, wait, I'm not hungry. How is that possible? And then we remembered we ate a bit later than normal the night before. And we're like, oh yeah, you know, this is how it feels. And that's why you would grab just something really, really simple and move on with your day. But that also means that you start picking till the next meal. So it's counterproductive. Special things to enjoy. Blackstrap molasses. You use this in your baking. What do you usually use this for?
I usually use it in gingerbread cookies.
Now, gingerbread cookies have been very popular this season. Yeah. Okay. And it's full of
Iron.
I have to confess that our family has had to take a teaspoon to a tablespoon of molasses every day because it's important to cover the fact that we're not having certain foods that are high in iron. So we need to ensure that we replace that which we used to have that we don't have anymore. So blackstrap molasses, make sure it says pure blackstrap, because that has the highest content of iron. Of course, we've got the greens for iron, and but it's just covering every base. Yeah, covering every base. Okay, so yeast flakes, again, you don't usually use that for your baking, but we'll go straight onto organic carob powder. Carob is a very potent food. And you wanted to share some factors about carob because you use it quite a lot in your book.
Yeah, so carob is high in calcium. It's also a very good replacement for chocolate. And it doesn't have any oxalates, which cocoa powder has, which actually hinders the absorption of calcium. So you can take carob without wondering whether you're getting enough calcium in your body. And it also is high in fiber as well. And it's actually 50% sweeter than cocoa powder. So when you're using carob, you don't have to add a lot of sweetener to your desserts.
Yeah. And that's the blessing. I was talking about, the desserts of old, or the desserts that I used to make personally, full of butter and sugar and eggs and dairy and whatever else, and chocolate sometimes.
It's caffeine free as well.
But if you're switching to something better, it doesn't have any of these. Your baking doesn't have any chocolate, doesn't have sugar, it doesn't have, it's just dairy. It doesn't, so you are actually benefiting greatly. And actually carob is also used for digestion problems, including diarrhea, heartburn, and the inability of the intestines to absorb. And we have had this experience, when someone used to have quick emptying, carob helped to stay the food a little longer so they could get more nutrition from it.
And it's also known as locust bean or St. John's bean, because in the Bible, when you hear that John the Baptist ate locusts and wild honey, he's actually eating carob pods with wild honey.
I used to imagine him trying to catch those jumping locusts, but we discovered that it's carob. Amazing, amazing. More about carob maybe later when you're baking, because there's so much to share about carob. So we just want to pause here, give thanks unto the God of heaven, for his mercy endures forever. He gives food to all people, for his mercy endures forever. And with this in mind, we're going to transition to the kitchen. Bear with me, I'm just going to stop sharing. Okay. If you have any questions, perhaps, I'm struggling to stop sharing.
There is one question, Jackie, from Lucia Roman. So, Lucia, if you're happy to unmute, feel free to ask your question. And I'm checking on YouTube as well. So anyone on YouTube, please type your question. We'll present it if we can.
Okay. Hi, Lucia. Now, Lucia, maybe she can't hear us. Lucia's in Romania, and Lucia is a former guest. And what did she say?
Sorry, she's by hand up.
Okay. It's wonderful to have you on this platform, Lucia. I hope all is well with you. Okay. All right. Are there any more questions, Sister Sharon?
There's none on YouTube at the moment.
Okay.
There may be a little bit behind in terms of a few seconds behind or something, but there's nothing on YouTube. So if anybody's got a question you have, that's okay, Lucia. And sorry for saying your name. Oh, you can't see me. And sorry for saying your name wrong as well. Please forgive me. From Romania.
Can I ask a question here, Sharon?
Go ahead, Audrey. And we have time for just one question, Jackie.
Yeah. What is the reference for John the Baptist locust referring to carob? How do we
that from? That's a very, very good question. I can get you the reference.
Thank you.
And secondly, even if you Google carob or Google St. John's bread or locust bean, you will actually, Google will even reveal that to you as well.
The locust bean. It's a
Yeah,
locust bean. Wow,
yeah.
thank you.
The locust bean, I'm gonna write it in the chat, locust bean. Then you have, some people refer to it as St. John's bread. So that's what he had daily. St. John's bread. And well, yeah, but another name is Carol.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good question. All right. So we have no more questions. If you do, please note them down and we'll do our best to answer it later. We're going to transition into the kitchen now. Bear with us a moment.
Thank you so much for your presentation, Jackie and Michaela. I think it was really good that you gave us the positive aspect of eating a healthier diet, because a lot of times people think, oh, I can't have this and I can't have that. And it seems like it's a negative message, but you delivered this in a positive way. And food should be positive. We shouldn't be thinking about it as it will affect the digestion if we're thinking negatively about the food that we eat. So that was absolutely amazing and really, really appreciated that. And I love your question, Audrey. And this is educational as well. We haven't shared our disclaimer yet, but this is information. We are learning, we are applying what we learn, so long as it fits in with our program. And thank you so much. This has been a blessing. So there's a couple of people in the waiting room. Yeah, so we'll be sharing with you our promo slides at the end due to a slight timing mistake on my part. I'll claim with this one. I'll claim it this time. It's always good, confession is good. So yes, I said we were going to start at 4 when we should have started at 3:30, but never mind. All things will work together. Right, so I can keep talking, Jackie, so please jump in when you're ready, and don't feel that you're being rude to jump in. Just yeah. I did have another point that I was going to make. I forgot now. I think everybody's really looking forward to seeing these desserts though, and I'm starting not salivating, but I'm really looking forward to it. And I love the information you shared to us about carob. The lack of a need to add so much sugar, etc. Fantastic. Okay, over to you. I think you're ready now.
Yes. Okay. So hello everyone. We're in the kitchen now. So first, before we get started, we're going to put our aprons on. It's very handy to have in the kitchen. Okay, and make sure you wash your hands. You always want to have clean hands when you're in the kitchen.
I don't have an apron. I'm a sous chef, but I ought to have one, shouldn't I?
Yes. Okay, so the first dessert we're going to start with our traditional scones. So we're going to start. So first we have. Oh, okay. Let me just give you the ingredients first before I start.
We understand that one of Charlene's one of Charlene's girls would like baking as well. So I hope you have a wonderful time and that you have the ingredients to make this as well.
Okay. So for the scones, we have 190 grams spelt flour. And the reason why we use spelt flour is because it's more easily digested than wheat flour, because wheat flour has been hybridized, so the structure is a bit different, and that also clogs the system. So spelt flour we're going to be using spelt flour, and we have 4 1/4 tablespoons of maple syrup. We have 1 teaspoon of aluminium-free baking powder, and 1/8 teaspoon pink Himalayan salt, and 5 tablespoons of Vitalite butter. If you don't have Vitalite butter, you can use another plant-based butter, or you can use coconut oil if you would like to use coconut oil. So these are the ingredients, and now I'm going to show you the method. Okay, so we have our spelt flour in this bowl. We are now going to add the salt and the baking powder. I'm going to mix that together. So we're going to mix all the dry ingredients together first. And then we are going to add the Vitalite butter or your plant-based butter. So once we get that in, we're going to get our hands messy. That's why it's good to have clean hands. And we're just going to rub it in with our fingertips until it resembles fine breadcrumbs. Okay, and while you're doing this, you should have your oven heating up at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit, because we want your oven to be nice and hot before you put your goods in. Okay, so once you've mixed everything together, you're going to add the maple syrup. Now, I think maple syrup is better instead of using honey because it's not as sticky as honey. So it will also help with the rise of the scone.
But check this, maple syrup is rich in riboflavin, also known as vitamin B2. It helps keep skin and eyes and the nervous system healthy. The body releases energy from foods such as this without any adverse effects. Obviously, if you go around drinking maple syrup, it may be a problem, but it's actually really good for you. And I didn't know this, but it's high in nutrients such as zinc, magnesium, calcium, and potassium as well. Wow.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So once we've got everything mixed together, we're going to form a nice soft dough. And then it's going to place it on our work table and roll it out. Okay, so going to get some extra flour.
We've got a question in the chat. Can I ask?
Sure, yeah.
For Martha, what would be the alternative to baking powder, or how can we know the healthy types to use?
Okay, so I haven't yet come up with a formula to an alternative to baking powder, but the healthy types, I can also put that in the chat for you, which is the aluminium-free baking powder, because the usual ones that we get from the shop, they usually have aluminium. So I can put in the chat where we get our aluminium-free baking powder from.
Also, baking powder, there's a question on it, and I know about the question mark upon baking powder. And we have made scones, we've made cupcakes without baking powder. And what we usually do is mix soy milk with lemon. So soy milk and lemon, and then you get this curdle, which enables the, whatever you're making to rise. We're still working on it to get the type of rise that, we like. So watch this space. But for now, we use small amounts and the better ones that can be found.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got the dough rolled out. We're going to get a cookie cutter. We're going to use a round side this time. And we're just going to stamp out some rounds and place it on our baking tray, which has some baking paper on it. Okay, so this is going to go in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes. You might want to set your timer so you don't leave it in there too long. And then when it comes out, you can leave it to cool before you add your favorite toppings. I made some coconut cream. You can add some homemade jam. Okay, so that's the scones. Now I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. Just take this out. Okay, so when they're done, this is what they look like. Okay, so these are the traditional scones when they're baked. Okay, and you can then add some coconut cream. And all these recipes are in my book as well, so feel free to check that out. So you can add some coconut cream. And we have some homemade blueberry jam. You can add some of that as well. Okay, and then close it. And there we go. We have our nice scone here, ready to eat.
Yum, yum.
Okay. So that's the scone recipe. Are there any questions before we move on?
There are 2 in the chat, and then there's 2 people, well, at least one hand that's raised. So
Okay.
another one in the chat says, can you use milk, for instance, a plant-based milk like soya instead of maple syrup? I guess that would be totally sweet-free.
Yeah, so if you don't want to make your scone sweet, like you want a savory scone, you can use soya milk. Yeah.
Instead of the maple syrup. And the other question on here is, which spelt flour is better, wholemeal or white?
Wholemeal is better for you since it still has all the fiber.
That's right.
I use wholemeal in all my bakings. But I usually, if you're making like cakes, you sift the flour to get, the excess bran out, but you don't throw that away. You can use it in biscuits or bread. So wholemeal is better.
Okay, so thank you, Louise and Noswello, for those questions. And just to say, Louise and Alvin McQueen from Golden Palms will be coming on here in 2 weeks' time to share with us some savory dishes. So we're really looking forward to seeing you guys again in 2 weeks' time. That's when we're next on TTI. So Audrey's asking, do you make coconut cream? Do you make your own coconut cream?
Yes, I do. It's quite simple and easy. So I just can you pass me that? Okay. So we get coconut milk in the tin. The best brand, I think, is the one from Morrison's. We can get it from Sainsbury's as well because it has a high percentage of fat. So the coconut cream settles on top and you just scoop that out and then you put it in a bowl and you can mix it with honey or maple syrup and it's like really thick. So that's a really good cream. And you can also add vanilla essence as well. And that's also very good to, if you want to ice cakes or if you want like a cream for pancakes or scones. So yeah, it's very handy.
Speaking of handy, there's one hand I can see from Louise Reed.
Okay.
Hello. Hi, Michaela.
Hi, Louise.
Hi, Jackie. I was just going to add on to the my daughter, when she's baking adenike, she uses pineapple to help with the raisin agent, and she also uses apple sauce. Apple sauce helps to raise things quite nicely as well. So in terms of those who are thinking, oh, I don't want to use the baking powder, although you can get quite good baking powders without the aluminium, as you said, you can use pineapples and also applesauce, and that helps with the rising of cakes and stuff as well.
Okay, thank you very much for that. So pineapple and applesauce is very good for as a raising agent. And you can experiment with other things as well. So yeah. Okay, so the next dessert, the no more questions for the scones. We're going to move on to the next dessert, which is carob cake. And this is a very, very easy cake to make. Within 10 minutes, you have it in the oven and it's out in 30 minutes. So it's a really quick cake. So let me share my screen again so you guys can have the ingredients. Okay, so for the carob cake, we have 200 grams of spelt flour, 30 grams of carob powder, 1 teaspoon aluminium-free baking soda, 193 ml of water, 80 ml light olive oil, or you can use rice bran oil, and 120 grams honey, 1 tablespoon lemon juice. So those are the ingredients for the carob cake. Okay, so I'm going to start with my dry ingredients. So mix that away. We have our spelt flour here, and I'm going to add the salt and the aluminium-free baking soda. And we're going to mix that together. And I'm using a whisk because that also helps, aerate the flour. So we have an extra rise when we put it in the oven. And then I'm going to add my carob powder, which we learned that it's a good alternative to chocolate. It's high in calcium, it's high in fiber.
Let me share a bit more about carob powder. It's quite amazing. Now we know cacao, after chocolate, became a problem, we all rushed to cacao thinking, yes, but cacao still has theobromine and it still has caffeine, which are both stimulants which we need to look out for. But carob doesn't have that. carob actually, you know, it has nutrition, and you basically, it helps absorb nutrition as opposed to stripping your body of nutrition. So it's a win-win situation.
Thank you. Okay, so once we have all our dry ingredients mixed, we're going to start with the wet ingredients. So we have our water, and we're going to add our honey. You know, you don't have to use honey. You can use maple syrup, or you can use agave syrup or carob syrup. So you can use, you know, a nice
And as
sweetener.
Sister Louise was saying, you can actually use fruits as a sweetener as well, blending dates.
You can use apple juice, like from concentrate.
Yeah.
Some people use grape concentrate.
Yeah.
Okay, and I'm using rice bran oil, which you can get from, you know, Morrison's, Tesco. It doesn't have a flavor, so it's very good for baking.
And it's quite good at high heat. Yeah, the problem with rice bran oil is that it's slightly pricey. So you need to save up.
Okay, so we've got that in the jug, and we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla essence. Okay, and also read the label of vanilla essence as well, because sometimes they add alcohol. So make sure it's just vanilla and water, which this one is. Just vanilla extract and water. Okay, so we're going to mix everything together. Add our lemon juice. Then we're going to add the dry ingredients, the wet ingredients to the dry ingredients. Okay. And before you start baking, your oven needs to be, you know, heating up at 180 degrees Celsius or 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we're going to mix this all together. And you don't want to mix it too vigorously, otherwise you're going to, you know, mix all the air bubbles out of the cake. And we don't want that to happen, otherwise our cake will sink in the oven. Oh, yeah, and try not to open your oven door either when the cake's in there. So leave it in there for the full duration of 30 minutes before you open the door. Because if you open the door before 30 minutes is up, the change in the heat temperature can cause the cake to sink as well.
What if you're very, very, very excited?
Well, I don't think with baking, you have to have patience, because when I was baking with one of my friends one time, said they couldn't be a baker because they were very impatient.
Oh dear. So we need to pray for patience.
Yes. Okay, so you're going to have an 8-inch sandwich cake tin, and I've just oiled it with olive oil, and I've got some parchment paper at the bottom. And then we're going to just pour the cake batter into the cake tin. And another good thing to have in the kitchen is a spatula. So a spatula, you know, helps to get all the remains of the batter into the cake tin, so you're not wasting anything. Okay, so once that's done, we're going to put it in the oven for 30 minutes, and then you can enjoy it. So let me show you the finished product. This is the carrot cake when it's done. And I've just put some coconut and carob cream on top. So the coconut cream I was telling you about that I put on the scones, you can add some carob powder and make a coconut and carob cream icing. And I've just decorated it with some desiccated coconut. Okay, so we're going to cut into this. So let me show you the cake. And this is good. You can use it for, you know, many different occasions. I made it as birthday cakes, can be a Sabbath cake, can be a wedding cake. Okay, so this is the carrot cake when it's done. This is nice and fluffy. And if you want, you can layer it. So you can do 2 carrot cakes, and then you can sandwich things in between. You can add jam. If you're having it for breakfast, you can add fruit. So
you can cut that in half and add your layer, isn't it? Layer, maybe coconut and fruit.
Yeah.
Like that fruit sauce you made.
Yeah.
It just gets you inspired.
Yeah. So they're just like a foundation, and you can mess with everything. You can, you know, experiment. You can add your favorite flavors. So
Sometimes she ices it as well with carob icing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, but sometimes if it's a real occasion, she does all of these amazing things. But yeah, not enough time to show you all of that.
Yeah, not enough time. Okay, so that's it for the carrot cake. Are there any questions before we move on?
Can't see any questions in the chat at the moment. But I would, if anybody that lives close to Michaela and Jackie Brown, I think they're going to have all this carob cake that they need to try and get rid of, because they believe in true temperance and they believe in sharing. Because you've got the cake that you've already made, plus you've got the one that you've got to put in the oven, plus you've got the scones that you've already made, and the scones that you've got to put in the oven, and you're going to do a protein bar.
Yeah, these are protein balls, energy balls.
Protein balls. So you've got so much to eat, and there's only so many people that live near you or live in your house. Okay, this is wonderful. I don't know. I've not seen any. Oh, yeah, there was a question that someone was asking, where can we get your cookbook from? And the response has been placed in the chat, and it's also gone on YouTube, plantbaked.org. Yes. And when you said about the expensive oil, I preempted somebody saying, what's the name of the oil again? So I've just put it in there, rice bran oil. And someone says, looks yummy, thanks. And so does the poster, because that was the one where you'd had it decorated with a really nice looking glossy carob.
That's the one in the book. It's a picture I took for the book.
Yeah, it's like a ganache or something. I don't know. Sounds posh.
Is there another oil that you would recommend other than the rice bran oil?
If you can't get rice bran oil, you can use olive oil, but make sure it says light olive oil so you don't get the olive oil flavor in your cake. And it's not also extra virgin olive oil can be quite heavy for cakes, so make sure it's light olive oil. Or you can try and use coconut oil. You can melt it and then you can use that as well. So
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds really good. It sounds nice, and I'm not sure if Jasmine's cooking along with you, if she was able to keep up, but if not, she doesn't live too far from me, so maybe I can take a trip around there and taste what it's like.
How it goes as well. Send a picture.
Pardon?
You can send a picture as well of the finished result.
Jasmine, yeah.
Yes, please do, Jasmine, Shirley. And someone says, can I use rapeseed oil? Lisa's asking that question.
I haven't actually tried it with rapeseed oil, but maybe you could give it a try. But yeah, oils I have tried are the light olive oil, rice bran oil, and the coconut oil.
Thank you. And so if there's anybody else that's making any of these delicacies, remember they're all healthy and they're sugar-free. Wow, when you said they were sugar-free, I was like, whoa, that's so good. I mean, obviously there's natural sugars, but you're not adding in your processed sugars.
Yeah.
Sorry?
Yeah, I said no refined sugars.
Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, let me have a quick look on YouTube. If not, we're ready for your protein balls.
Okay, so
let's have a look on YouTube. But while you're having a quick look on YouTube, rapeseed is fine. Just make sure that it's not genetically modified. Rapeseed is one of those oils. Although if you're getting it from Europe currently, it should be fine.
Yeah.
Okay, there's no questions on YouTube, just some compliments saying that it looks really good.
Oh, thank you. Praise God. Okay, so now for the carob and almond energy balls, we're going to be using 252 grams of crunchy almond butter, 37 grams carob powder, 3.5 tablespoons of honey, 2 to 3 tablespoons Rice Krispies, 2 tablespoons sunflower seeds, 1 tablespoon pumpkin seeds, and 4 tablespoons crushed pistachio nuts, if you can get your hands on them.
Or you can use any other nut.
Yeah, you can use almond nuts, walnuts, pecans, or your favorite nut.
If you find that almond butter is too expensive and you're not allergic to peanut butter, you can use crunchy peanut butter as well.
Exactly, you can use peanut butter. Okay, so we have our peanut butter here, or your almond butter. We're going to add our seeds and our Rice Krispies, And if you don't have to add Rice Krispies, you can add puffed rice. You can add puffed sprouts. That's also available. So we're going to mix that together. And then we're going to add our carob powder, which is high in fiber and all the wonderful benefits we've listed. And then we're going to add our honey. Give it a nice drizzle. And this is a raw dessert as well. So you don't have to worry about, turning your oven on. And if you're low on time, it's very good to just quickly whip this up. It's very quick to make. So we're going to just mix everything together until everything's been incorporated. And then we're going to make balls.
Children love this.
Yeah, they do.
I'm sure they get their hands extra dirty just so they can lick their fingers. I've seen it happen.
So it's going to just get everything mixed together. Okay. Yeah, I don't want to leave any dry bits.
There's a quick question. Someone's asking, can you use pistachios?
Yes, you can. The original recipe has pistachios in there. So you can add pistachio nuts.
Okay, hopefully that helps you, Friends of Jesus Communication.
Okay, so I'm just going to roll the balls in my hand now. Again, make sure your hands are clean because we're going to be getting our hands messy.
Ooh.
And you can put in extra nuts and seeds. I have some sunflower seeds here, so you can roll those in the sunflower seeds. And then you can roll it. You can also roll it in nuts, in more Rice Krispies.
Coconut.
Roll it in desiccated coconut. So, the options are endless.
Carob.
Yeah, carob. So once you're going to put it in the fridge for half an hour just to firm up before you enjoy it.
Or you can just eat it right away.
if you said we have to exercise patience, right? David, sorry, go ahead.
I'm just saying, obviously, that's not one of my good points.
I can imagine seeing sesame seeds on there too. Right, someone's asking, because you've told us so much about the carob powder, which is brilliant. Damien Scott wants to know where we can get it from.
Okay, so I'm going to put the link in the chat. It's buywholefoodsonline.co.uk. It's a really good website.
And some of you may be fortunate enough to live near a Whole Foods store.
Now, this is not just the normal Whole Foods. This you have to actually literally put it in as buywholefoodsonline.co.uk because there's so many websites with Whole Foods, especially when it's dealing with natural foods. Yeah. But this one is literally Buy Whole Foods Online. I hope I've got that right. wholefoodsonline.co.uk. Yeah. And they do the best carob that I've come across thus far. They do the spelt flour.
Yeah.
They do the spelt flour in bulk. We tend to now anyway try to, because it's in demand so much in our home. We tend to buy in bulk. You can actually go directly to Dove's Farm and get spelt flour. It is slightly cheaper than Buy Whole Foods. Dove's Farm. So you can go directly to them and buy spelt flour, or you can buy it from Buy Whole Foods, or you can get spelt flour from the supermarkets these days. Tesco has all the different ancient grains.
Jackie, I've got a question.
Yes.
In the spirit of the program, would you be willing to put some of the recipes in a Uber and get it sent over to me?
You know what? Somebody actually asked us recently to make like the daughter's birthday cake, and it was so sad. We're trying to find ways and means besides literally driving there ourselves to deliver this cake. So if you can find a reasonable way for us to get, you've sent carrot cakes.
Yeah, I think
you sent more robust cakes across the country.
Things like scones, bars, they're easy to send, but things like cakes, especially they're decorated.
So she's going to decorate it with her favorite things, and it's just not going to survive. So if you know a
So
way to,
is that a no then?
we'll move on quickly.
That's the
Okay.
last recipe. Okay, and I'm conscious that not all of our audience are from the UK, so I'm sure you can source other places where you could get the carob from, a good source of carob powder. But of course, Jacqueline and Michaela deal with the UK website, bywholefoodsonline.co.uk.
Do you happen to have the cookbook that you could show us now, or?
Oh,
Yes.
Let me go.
Also, Sister Jonette is in the US. She might actually, I don't know if she's still with us. Sister Jonette, is there somewhere where those in the US can obtain good source of carob powder, please? I don't know if she's still with us.
Okay. All right,
Okay,
that's good. That's good.
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good. Thank you.
Also, this looks amazing. It looks really good. And we had this, you brought this to Kevin Lee, didn't you? This book. That's right. So I don't know how I missed not getting one, but or missed getting one, but I've got to correct that this next this summer, and get one. Can you just share the previous slide as well? I just wanted to
Yeah.
and if
no
someone
problem.
can let Hirare in.
Yeah.
The carob and almond balls.
And the blessing also is that not only did she write it, of course, you know, she had help here and there with the editing and a few things here and there, but it was mainly her project. She also took the pictures. So whatever pictures you see in the book was taken by Michaela, and she has now become a bit of a food photographer. Also, if you're going to, please pre-order, as the books have actually sold out. So we're having to order some more.
Wow.
So yeah,
Praise the Lord.
it is.
It really has become a part of your self-sustaining ministry. That's fantastic. I'm so pleased to hear that. And we're honored to have you on here. Someone's asking, has the meeting just started? I'm afraid not, Harare. However, we are being recorded. So if you go back on, well, if you go onto YouTube, onto our YouTube channel, truetempeраnceinternational.org. No, it isn't. Sorry, what am I talking about? True Temperance International on the YouTube channel. I was just promoting our website. Then you'll be able to see from the beginning. So it's running live now. You can always just take it back to the beginning and catch the start. We started with Jackie and Michaela, and then we're going to do some of our promos at the end. And also for those of you who are watching live now and would like to watch from the beginning later, it won't be on immediately. Just wait maybe a couple of hours and then. Oh, okay. He's telling me you can go. Okay. Well, whenever it's available and published, you'll be able to watch and share with your friends. Sorry, I'm talking. Go ahead.
Yes, so thank you. I mean, you can pre-order plant-based. Give us. There is a facility so that people can order to send out when it comes. And the girls actually put together, you did.
Yeah, it's a little promotional video that I put together over the holidays. I got my siblings to join in as well, and Brother Takutsua, who is on here as well. So I would like to show you guys the little video that we put together. So I'll do share screen. I'm going to share screen. I'm just going to share the sound as well. Yeah.
Like that. That's very, very good. I'm very impressed.
Oh, and I'm so honored that we've got you on here. Oh, wow. Before you become unobtainable. Right, someone's asking, Martha's asking, could the books be shipped outside the UK?
Yes, they can be. Yes, we can arrange that.
Okay, so that's great news. That's great news.
I was just looking at the promo that you did and thought to myself, wow, how come I've not got that book as a Christmas present? I was opening it for myself. I got the promo. But it's very, very good. Very, very good.
Thank you so much. Oh, I'm beaming. My jaw's aching now because I'm smiling so much. Oh, I'm so glad we've met.
Thank you for that.
Is there a bit of a waiting? Say, for example, if I was to order,
yes, she said.
Is it a long time that you'd have to wait, or?
I think possibly a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
At the moment.
Oh, that's fine.
Excellent.
Very good.
Oh, wow. Okay, so thank you everybody for joining us today on the Family Health Show. We haven't quite finished yet, but we've done things in reverse order. So we've had Jacqueline and Michaela join us for the first part, and then we've only got just maybe another 15 minutes to round up at the end. But do you have any time for any more questions, Jackie and Michaela? If there's any, yes, we do. Okay, so if there's anybody that wishes to unmute.
And Audrey says, brilliant video.
Yeah, and definitely. Whoops, sorry about that. One of the younger ones sneezing in the background. So yeah, excellent video. And let's just see if there's any comments on YouTube, any questions, but feel free if you do have a question.
No questions.
There's none on YouTube at the moment. Anybody would like to raise your hand and ask a question of our chefs here and presenter and chef? Okay, Nathan and family says, keep it up.
For the encouragement.
Thank you for the encouragement.
Yeah.
I think you should continue to run that video. I think it's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good. Yeah, very good.
Okay, so I don't know if there's any more questions, so I take it that we can say thank you so much again for coming on the True Temperance International Family Health Show. We're so glad you've kicked off the year with us, and we're looking forward to some bigger, brighter and better acquaintances, and maybe, you know, okay, Scotland's a bit far from Nottingham right now, but when we meet up at Keffin Lee, I'd like to place an order, please. And it's my birthday in August as well. So,
hint.
yes. But I do believe in true temperance, so, you know, I'll have to share.
Privilege. It's a privilege to be here. Thank you so much for the invitation, and wish you all, we pray that you have a wonderful year, and yes, happy baking.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Excellent.
And for those of you who have joined with the detox program that Jackie is starting tomorrow, then all the best with that, because it sounds like it's going to be a good program. There's quite a few detoxes going on at the moment, and it is promoted on our website. So if you haven't had a chance to look on there, it's a bit late to join them now, but for the next one, at least you'll have the details on there, and you can contact Jackie and find out about the next detox one. Then you can get on the next detox train.
Would you like to put up your ministry logo so that if you want to get in contact with you, they can see where you are? And does it have your telephone number, you know, somewhere they can get in contact with you?
Yes, I'm just gonna try and find.
Yeah, that's fine. So while you're doing that, we're gonna kind of transfer now to our promos. We can't, what we're gonna do.
We can't do all the screen sharing.
No, after.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. We're gonna transition to do straight after the presented their ministry for us.
Okay, so there's a couple more comments in the chat. That's wonderful, and I like the carob cake and the rolls. Thanks, very. That was from Brenda. And Charlene didn't get to do the energy balls, but she will tomorrow. So I think there'll be some baking going on in the house tonight. And the energy balls are they're what do you call it? Raw, aren't they? So you don't even have to wait for them to bake.
Yes. Yeah.
It's just waiting for them to harden and set in the fridge, Jackie.
Trying. But you know what? It's nice as it is, even if you don't let it harden, because some people don't like cold things. So
Yes.
you have it like that.
Okay. So as you can see, the slide is there. Let us keep one another in prayer and look out for each other. Should you need more information or how to implement some of the remedies, please contact us on, there's a phone number, there's a website, there's an email address, and there's to support our ministry, there's the bank details there with the sort code, etc. from the Medical Missionary Group. Love from that group. I love you guys. And what a pleasure to have you ministering with us on TTI.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you very much, and God bless you.
God bless you. All right, so.
We will be calling on you again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay.
I enjoyed it myself.
Thank you, Alden, and Happy New Year to you. Right,
Happy New Year, Seven.
Is that the right one? No, that's not the right one. Sorry, let me just stop share. I just need to call up our promo slides. No, that's not the one. It is. Oops. What happened? Okay.
Just stop it and start again.
Bear with me. There we go. This should be it now. Ooh. Okay, I'm not sure what you're seeing on your screens. Let's just have a quick. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. If we just put it into full screen. Just take it to full screen. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. And we'll just go to the beginning. Right, so this is where we would have started to today's show. Welcome to another week of the Family Health Show. Happy New Year. And you are on here with True Temperance International. We didn't even introduce ourselves. My name is Sharon.
I'm Edgar.
And we have a team in the background. We have Shirlene and Jonathan Curlew. We have Janine and Chris Higgins. And we have other members who are regular of the team, regularly on here. And you're our family as well. So welcome to another week of the Family Health Show of True Temperance International. Right, so if you didn't know what you just tuned into, this is what you've just missed if you came in late.
But you can go back if you go onto YouTube.
As you can see, find us on True Temperance International or our YouTube channel to keep up to date. Oh yeah, so that was today's Sweet Heaven with Jackie Brown and Michaela Brown. And there is a picture of the carob cake that you've just seen or witnessed, or a cake like it, because I think that one's layered. There's possibly one cake on top of another with some strawberries and other fruits, some forest fruits decorating. So that looks lovely. So moving on. Yeah, we go. So next show we're going to have, what's coming up next on the next one?
On the next show, we will have Alvin McQueen and Louise McQueen. They will be our chefs for the day from the Golden Palms Cooking School, and they will be putting together something that's going to be savory. Now, they were our demonstrator cooks team at Keffin Lee, and they did a really good program. A lot of people were impressed and pleased. So they will be doing the next show, and I look forward to that. I'm sure they will bring something that will be very tantalizing. So look out for that. That's the next show. Cooking will be the spotlight, and the McQueen family will be doing that program.
So we had the sweet today, and we'll have the savory in 2 weeks' time. So don't forget to tune in, share with your friends, And if you're unable, because we understand people can be busy and they've got other commitments, you can always go back on our YouTube channel and catch up. So, as we said, we met Jackie and Michaela and the rest of their family at Kefenli. If you don't know what we were talking about when we say Kefenli, we had a health retreat, didn't we, last year? It was our very first in association with Association of Health Reformers, so that's AHR, and a few other ministries that came on board. And we held a week's conference last year, August 2022, in Kefenli, which is in Mid Wales. So this poster, it was one we had last year, and I've just changed it to see you this year, August 2023, and we'll tell you a bit more about that in a minute. This was a nice picture that we took on a walk. As you can see, it was a little bit windy, but it was great because it was quite warm and the wind cooled us down, and we went for a walk, and that's the views from on top there. So as you can see, we really were in the countryside. So this is an invitation to the next conference. I don't know if Shirley, well, possibly you're still clearing up the cake cooking. So Edgar, can you share with us something about this one?
Right, so obviously we did this last year. We had many really good presenters, and we're going to continue that theme. We have Maimon Wilson. I'm sure many people know about Maimon Wilson, been a medical missionary for many, many years and knows what he's talking about. Not only will he be bringing theory, but he'll also be bringing some practical help and applications that you can use. He's very, very good on men's health. We have Melbourne, who's based in Germany. He's down as well, bringing his experience.
I think he's talking about men's health as well.
Mm-hmm. We have Andre Crawford, again, medical missionary, preacher, knows what he's talking about.
Based in the UK.
Based in the UK. We have Sam Davids, who's now in Onachenta, Spain, but
comes from the UK.
He knows his stuff too, and presented last year. Where we can say that last year we could say, well, something good was going to happen, but we can say this year it's happened, and it was really, really good, and we're really, really looking for 2023, where we have our second program, and many people came, many people were blessed. The food was good, the treatments were good, and there were many blessings that people experienced. So we're saying, if you can, come and rest a while with us for 2023, and it looks good what is coming.
Okay, so it involves workshops. There'll be treatment rooms. You'll have opportunities to buy some things if you wish to purchase. If you wish to have a table, and you may even be able to set up a stall, because we had a little shop as well, and we had exercises in the mornings. We had a physiotherapist on site. So some of the workshops that we'll be putting together, in fact, possibly maybe this is all the workshops, because there's a lot to choose from, and you really want to try and get to all of them if possible. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, but we will get around it. So we have Christian financial management, men's health, the deadly trio, obesity, diabetes, and hypertension, practical home remedies, which will be hands-on, physio health, essential oils, practical plant-based cooking, and that's going to be hands-on. Cancer does not mean the end. Different ways to preserve food and drinks. And there's going to be a children's workshop called Mini Missionaries. You saw the presentation from Michaela. Her and her siblings will be leading out for this children's workshop called Mini Missionaries. So we'll have something for the younger ones as well. And it won't just be us in our team doing the workshops. Like I said, we have associated ministries. So between us and the other ministries, we'll be putting on these workshops. So please, 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 if you've never thought about it, or even if you've been before and you wish to share the information. The cost is very affordable. We've got it blanked out because we don't normally do this during Sabbath. but it's no longer Sabbath here for us now. So how much is it? Oh,
I don't know. All I'm saying is you need to book,
okay.
and you can book by a deposit. You can get in contact with TTI or get in contact with AHR Health Reformers, and give a deposit, fill out a form so you can secure your place, whether it be a chalet, whether it be a caravan, or whether it be the top end of the facilities for accommodation. So please, Christmas is over now. Now's the time to start booking, and before you know it, Kef and Lee will be here.
Sure will be. In fact, we do have the proper poster without the price included on our website. So feel free to come over to our website and you will see the full pricing. And it also, the accommodation includes self-catering, but we will have caterers on site as well if you want to have a break. So we'll be coming apart, rest in a while, 2023, revive, rejuvenate and reform. That's the 28th of August to the 3rd of September. So we look forward to seeing you. It's all in the planning and we will have a wonderful time, God willing. So our website, as you can see on there, it's our new website. So we appreciate you coming along to check us out. It's ttinternational.org. Obviously you do your https:// then ttinternational.org for our latest promotions. We have other promotions as well. We have essential oils and other detoxes. So feel free, come along on there to our website and see what we have. Also, we have lots of recipe. Well, our recipe library, I suppose you could call, is growing. And if you have anything that you would like to share with us on our website, we could possibly, if you email us or message us, WhatsApp us, your recipe
will be on our website.
We can put it on our website with a little promotion.
If you got something that you think is good and it's healthy, send it to us and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, before we jump over to something else, I just wanted to, this promotion was missed off. So there's a 10-day detox that Shirley just reminded me, which is like, what has thyroid got to do with it? That's the 19th of April to the 28th.
19th of February.
To the 28th.
28th of February.
It includes 4 presenters, Louise Reed,
that we all know.
Sonia Barnes, Louise.
Dr. Louise McGarpy.
And Joan Cornwall. That's what's thyroid's got to do with it. That's February the 19th until the 28th. And if you, again, we can put that on the website too, to promote it if you're interested in that program.
So that's to do with balancing your hormones with the assistance or information or education of your thyroid. Okay, so coming soon. So we've just finished season 3, which was our Hope series. And this is the interim period where we're dealing with food. But coming soon is our season 4. So in February, we'll be having a new series entitled Remedies from Heaven. Okay, so look out for that. And we will be having some more exciting educational presentations on remedies, natural remedies from heaven. Okay. Disclaimer. Okay, you're right. I didn't need to put it in, but I've put it in. So there, if anybody wishes to have a read through our disclaimer, it's there. This is our usual one that we put on our family health show, but it's up there, so I'll say something. Only a professional health practitioner can diagnose or treat medical conditions. Any information discussed on the True Temperance International Family Health Show is for educational and informational purposes only. Please continue to seek professional medical advice from your GP or health practitioner regarding any illness or disease that you may be suffering from. Okay, I'm sure that's clear. And that was the last slide. Okay, so I'll stop the share. Okay. Right. So is there anything else that we need to say, Edgar?
I think they've just about done it, I think.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you everybody for joining us rather on the True Temperance Family Health Show, today's episode. It's been a pleasure spending this time with you, those on YouTube, those on Zoom, and some really good questions, some lovely presentations, and I look forward to spending time with you again in 2 weeks' time.
All right.
So I think we can end our YouTube stream, and if there's anybody that wishes to unmute, then feel free to unmute and tell us where you're joining from and say hi.
Sharon,
Charlene.
sorry, I'm on my phone, so I can't do the YouTube. But good afternoon, everybody.
You want me to try and
Yes,
stop
but I
it?
can't do it on here.
Okay. So just click on it. More. I should be able to do it. Let's just go to. Why is it that I can normally do it on something else and I